Socratic dialogue is a form of cooperative, argumentative dialogue that employs questioning to stimulate critical thinking and to draw out ideas and underlying presuppositions. Named after the classical Greek philosopher Socrates, it involves an interlocutor asking a series of questions that challenge the respondent to think deeply and consider their own beliefs or knowledge more critically. This method reveals hidden assumptions and stimulates a re-evaluation of the initial assertions, potentially leading to new insights or the strengthening of arguments. In the context of exploring whether Socratic dialogue hints at hidden programmers, it serves as a metaphor for uncovering deeper layers of understanding about how our thoughts and behaviors might be influenced or programmed by unseen forces. The relevance of Socratic dialogue in this context becomes evident when we consider the layers of cognitive biases and cultural influences that shape human thought. By applying this method, one can peel back these layers to identify the programmers, be they societal norms, psychological predispositions, or even historical conditioning, that influence our perceptions and decisions. For instance, in the realm of AI, dialogues modeled after the Socratic method could assist in debugging software logic by ensuring that each step is questioned and understood, potentially uncovering biases encoded into the algorithms. One real-world application is in educational settings, where teachers employ Socratic questioning to encourage students to articulate their reasoning and identify underlying assumptions in their reasoning processes. This promotes independent critical thinking and problem-solving skills. Another example is in therapeutic settings, such as cognitive behavioral therapy, CBT, where patients are guided through Socratic questioning to explore their thought patterns and restructure negative beliefs into more positive or realistic ones. Proponents argue that this method fosters an environment of learning and intellectual humility, where individuals recognize the limits of their knowledge. However, challenges do exist. Critics might argue that Socratic dialogue can become circular, leading to frustration rather than insight, if not facilitated properly. Additionally, it might be perceived as confrontational, especially in cultures or contexts where direct questioning of beliefs is not encouraged. In relation to the broader topic, Socratic dialogue's emphasis on unveiling and examining hidden assumptions directly parallels the concept of identifying hidden programmers, those unseen codes or influences that subtly shape human behavior. As we continue to integrate technology with aspects of human interaction, understanding and questioning these covert forces through a Socratic lens can provide invaluable insights into both human cognition and artificial systems, shaping our future interactions in meaningful ways. The concept of hidden programmers suggests the presence of intellectual architects or influencers who shape our thoughts, behaviors, and societal structures, much like programmers shape software. In the realm of Socratic dialogue, which revolves around probing questioning and critical examination to uncover deeper truths, these hidden programmers can be interpreted as unseen forces or ideologies that guide our reasoning and decision-making processes. This idea raises intriguing questions about whether our thoughts are our own, or subtly programmed by cultural, educational, or even philosophical paradigms. Understanding hidden programmers is vital because it highlights the potential biases and preconceptions we inherit from our environments. Just as a programmer's code dictates the functionality of an application, societal norms and values can dictate how individuals think and respond to various situations. By identifying these influences, individuals can engage more authentically and critically with the world, aligning with the main topic's exploration of the impact and implications of underlying programming on human thought. One example of hidden programming can be observed in educational systems, where curriculums often reflect specific cultural values or political agendas. These educational influences shape students' understanding of the world, often without them realizing the underlying biases. A second example is advertising, which cleverly programs consumer behavior by appealing to subconscious desires and societal norms. Supporting this idea, some philosophers and psychologists argue that recognizing and understanding these hidden forces allows for greater personal autonomy and freedom. By peeling back layers of external programming, individuals can attain a clearer understanding of their own beliefs and desires, freeing themselves from cultural or societal constraints that they might otherwise unconsciously follow. However, this concept is not without its challenges. Critics might argue that the notion of hidden programmers overemphasizes external influence, potentially undermining personal agency and accountability. Additionally, identifying these hidden influences requires deep reflection and may lead to uncertainty or destabilization, as individuals grapple with the authenticity of their beliefs. The concept of hidden programmers deeply intertwines with other aspects of the main topic of Socratic dialogue by underscoring the importance of relentless inquiry and self-examination. It suggests that to fully engage with the world and ourselves, we must constantly question not only the answers we receive, but also the hidden programming that might be shaping those answers. By doing so, we can foster a more genuine and independent pursuit of truth and understanding, echoing the core principles of Socratic thought. The Socratic method is a form of cooperative, argumentative dialogue that Socrates developed in ancient Greece. It's a way of stimulating critical thinking and illuminating ideas through asking and answering questions to draw out underlying presuppositions. This method is not only foundational in philosophy, but has also permeated various fields, suggesting a hidden framework akin to programming in diverse disciplines. In the context of our topic, did Socratic dialogue hint at hidden programmers? The historical significance of Socratic methods lies in their structured approach to inquiry and knowledge generation, resembling the systematic thinking employed in programming languages used today. The significance is profound, insinuating that these ancient dialogues may have set a basic cognitive template for logical problem-solving akin to computer programming. For example, consider the application of the Socratic method in legal education, where law students engage in rigorous questioning to think critically and navigate complex legal structures akin to debugging code. Similarly, in modern educational settings, this technique fosters an interactive learning environment where students actively engage in problem solving, just as a programmer would work through lines of code to find solutions. One could argue, as some educational theorists do, that the Socratic method embodies an intrinsic program or structure for ideation, emphasizing a disciplined, iterative approach to questions, much like algorithms in programming. Supporters suggest it taps into innate human structures for processing information, analogous to how computers run programs to execute tasks. However, there are challenges and alternative perspectives. Critics might argue the Socratic method relies too heavily on verbal exchanges, which may not always yield clear or universally applicable solutions. Additionally, some assert that likening dialogue to programming oversimplifies the artistic and unpredictable nature of human discourse, which doesn't always fit into neat logical frameworks. The historical context of the Socratic method not only grounds our understanding of dialogue-driven inquiry, but also influences broader discussions about the roots of programming and logical cognition. It encourages us to explore how early thinkers may have unknowingly contributed to a paradigm that underscores modern problem-solving techniques across various fields. These dialogues demonstrate that systematic thinking isn't solely a byproduct of the digital age, but rather an evolving tradition that Socrates might have ignited, subtly hinting at the cognitive frameworks that would later shape the world of programming. Analyzing Socratic dialogue through the lens of programming logic involves examining how the structure and methodology of Socratic dialogue resemble the logical processes used in computer programming. Socratic dialogue is characterized by a question-and-answer format designed to stimulate critical thinking and illuminate ideas. Programming logic, on the other hand, involves using structured, logical reasoning to solve problems through algorithms and code. At its core, this approach entails breaking down complex problems into manageable parts and seeking precision and clarity, principles that are central to both Socratic methods and programming. The significance of this analysis lies in the ability to draw parallels between ancient philosophical inquiry and modern technological processes. By understanding Socratic dialogue as a precursor to programming logic, one gains insight into how foundational human thought processes continue to influence contemporary digital landscapes. This connection underscores the timelessness of logical reasoning and its essential role in problem-solving, whether in philosophical discussions or software development. A real-world example illustrating this concept is the use of pseudocode in programming. Pseudocode is written in a simplified, human-readable form that outlines the logic of a program without the syntax of a programming language. This is akin to how Socratic dialogue uses ordinary language to explore complex ideas before formally codifying them. Another example is the iterative method common in both domains. In programming, developers refine their code through cycles of testing and debugging, much like Socratic dialogue employs repeated questioning to refine and clarify thought. Supporters of this idea argue that recognizing the philosophical roots of programming enhances interdisciplinary approaches to education, encouraging collaboration between liberal arts and computer science. However, this perspective is not without challenges. Some critics may suggest that comparing Socratic dialogue to programming reduces the nuanced exploration of ethics and metaphysics to mere technical exercises. They might assert that programming logic lacks the depth of human experience that Socratic dialogue can address. Despite these concerns, the interplay between Socratic dialogue and programming logic influences broader discussions on artificial intelligence. The ability of AI to engage in logical discourse, solve problems, and refine algorithms echoes the Socratic pursuit of understanding. This connection invites further exploration into the ways philosophical principles underpin AI development. Ultimately, approaching Socratic dialogue as analogous to programming logic not only enriches our understanding of programming history, but also highlights the enduring legacy of ancient philosophy in shaping the modern digital world.